Hello. People are waking up. Don't know what's happening, but people are more people are starting to wake up. Like what happened to me. Maybe people watching this are kind of on the fence as well, or they're kind of, I don't know. But I've had messages from three people who have changed from knots to core 29 back again recently, and these were kind of hardcore people who, like all of us are very passionate about Bitcoin, and yeah, it's kind of encouraging for me, to be honest, and it kind of makes me, I'm very, yeah, I think we're in a good place. Like, I feel like, I don't know, is it the fear and is wearing off? Is it like, I can kind of see through the Wizard of Oz now. Look at this beautiful sunset. I can, it's like the Emperor has no clothes. There's no CSAP. There's no, everything is kind of, there's no substance, there's no imminent threat. It isn't what we were sold, and there is no plan. I noticed recently, like, Mechanic was asked in the spaces, like with Samson Mao, it was like a two-pronged question. It was like, basically, what's going to happen with the chain split, and what's going to happen if BIP-110 succeeds, like before the year expires. What are you going to do to make like permanent changes that will make this all worthwhile? And his response was, I have no idea, which, respect him for being honest about it, but it is a bit worrying to hear that from people who are leading this movement to try and take control of and change the essence of Bitcoin, or consensus, make big changes to Bitcoin, which people will say, yeah, we're just changing it back or whatever. But remember, remember 3 weeks to slow the curve or whatever. It's like we've heard this before. We yeah, so I don't know, it's just kind of, when I look through and when I think back now, I see the comments and there's things like, yeah, you're either running knots or you're for CSAM and stuff like this, and I'm like, I'm a bit disappointed in myself that I got caught up in this kind of movement before. How, when I kind of thought that I knew my own self and my own mind, and I do everything to try and, I meditate, I do yoga, I do Tai Chi, breath work, everything to try and be more in touch with myself, and then to be kind of led away in this movement, which was all about division, and everybody who kind of, like, at first people were criticized for not speaking out, and then when they speak out they were, or for not having a stance, and then when they do, they're personally attacked and slandered, and don't use this business. I think Matthew Cratter's fallen out with people left, right and centre. 1 minute he's telling people to use Blockstream, then it's CoinKite, and then it's no, don't use any of them, and then using this Brains for mining. Then he's saying don't use Brains because the guy basically made a comment about Luke, and it's like, I mean, it's nice to, well, it's not nice, but you can do whatever you want with your, if you have these things. It's very difficult to have that kind of moral high ground, because, well, let he without sin throw the first stone. Nobody's perfect for a start. And then also, like, I'm assuming, like, for example, I've got a Google phone here. I don't necessarily endorse or align with everything Google. I bought it because it runs graphene, but it doesn't mean, like, if we don't go, if we don't, it's a nice way to be. I definitely think that on a general note, but I wouldn't do everything. There is no perfect company that you can use. So I would say it's a bit sort of childish. He's been blocking people, and also it's just not the kind of responsible way to do these kind of things, and to basically, if it is if these are the people leading the movement, I would really be looking for them to act with, like, exemplary behaviour, and not be acting in this kind of way, which is inciting this mob to basically act in this way. I think we all came to Bitcoin. The thing is, like, I noticed when I came to Bitcoin, you could meet any Bitcoiner and you had a lot in common with them, and you had a lot to, you instantly kind of hit it off, and you kind of know, okay, this is somebody who is I can talk to about many things and they can understand. And now we kind of have this BIP-110 in the middle, and it's kind of dividing that into sections and into politics. And as we say, this could create more things in the future, more precedent for these contentious forks, and more of all this stuff that we don't need. We're supposed to be coming together. We're supposed to be building, like, the future, and I really wish that they would think carefully before using these kind of tactics to get their way. The thing about Bitcoin is, you need overwhelming consensus before you make these changes, and that's by design, and it's not easy. A lot of this stuff isn't easy. It's not easy to make Bitcoin money. You have to go out and actually do stuff, in your community. It's not about running a node and making a war with people on social media and comments and stuff. You actually have to go out there and lead by example and educate people, and be a bridge between old world and help people, and be taken seriously. And I don't think you can do that if you're just kind of in this kind of fear. It really is fear. It's more fear. It's fear that kind of creates this tribal behavior, and it wore off with me. It's wearing off with, like, a lot more people, and I just encourage more people to not get triggered by this, not be like, and not attach yourself to, like, any group or any movement, but just to, like, understand, remind yourself why you got into Bitcoin, that everybody has the same goals, and the way that it's not about it's about how we achieve them together. It's about how we go about it. But hold on to your values while you do it. Hold on to being truthful, being kind, being loving, being empathetic, being tolerant, of other people. And this will take you a lot further. Don't harm yourself by degrading yourself in order to, like, fit in and be part of something. It's like, you can do it. You can be sovereign on your own, but you can be part of this huge network which includes the whole world, you know. I don't even think they care about this debate in like most of the countries and other languages and stuff. They won't even know what BIP-110 is. Like they're not even going to realize it. So don't think it's the end of Bitcoin. Don't think it's the end of the world. You know, touch grass. Um, Keep researching if you wish, but just know that Bitcoin is the honey badger. Bitcoin will survive, and a lot of this stuff is not uh, is not helpful, and it's not accurate. There's a lot of good things. If you want to check out the Bitcoin Way, the debate between Bert and Kyle is very good. There's a guy called Super Testnet, does a big talk, I think over an hour, going into the technical side of things. Who else? Yeah, there's a lot of people. If you want to kind of hear a more kind of rational take on it, Samson Mao's been talking recently. He's very good, and he's obviously been through similar with the block size wars, and he's tried to get people around the table to address spam as well, which is the way to do it, and it's the way it will be done in the future. But unfortunately, this attempt is going to fail. I believe it will fail, and I believe it's a good thing now to sort of pick your, like, obviously the Simon Dixon thing is like go this side and flip back to this side, and just hedge your bets, and Rothschilds will just back both sides of the war. But no, I think what you could really do is just kind of get to the point where you put the fear aside, you put the tribal stuff aside, you measure the threat, you measure the response, you weigh up like if this is the right way for a decentralized network to operate, when it has from a minority point, and basically add up all these conclusions, come to your own conclusion on what you believe is the best long-term solution for Bitcoin as it encounters more problems. Do we want more politics in the space? Do we want more division? Do we want more kind of these kind of coups? Or do we want to kind of strengthen it? We want to bring more, there's a lot more women coming into it. There's a lot more different like younger generations, everything. Do we want to embrace everybody and let Bitcoin be like part of everything, not have this kind of this thing that we've done in the world, like this savior complex, and everything needs us, we need to, like, humanity have gone around, and basically like most of the atrocities in the world have come from people with good intentions who thought they had good intentions, who really are basically creating what much more hassle, but much more problems by trying to save things, and by trying to control things. We've seen it doesn't work. Whatever you want to say, war on drugs or whatever, it's like it doesn't work. The more controls you put in, the more laws, the more limits, the more everything, the more you police it. It just, as long as there's incentives there, they always find a way around it, and you're seeing that now. So you have to be it's not like this. There is no quick fix, unfortunately. There is no way to do it in this fashion, and it's just the design of this decentralized networks that it's open, permission, and censorship resistant. That's again, these are features, and we're going to learn that. This is what it's going to teach us, but it doesn't say that we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't give up discussions with the miners and everything, trying to improve things slowly and with consensus and with the right people and the right attitude. But I hope that this will be the end of this kind of strategy where we're using fear, slander, ridicule, like mob rule kind of thing. You know, I think these days are over. I really believe that's part of the reason why this will fail. And yeah, that's it from me. Ciao. See you the next one.